In our first live episode, I'm with a guest and we're going to be talking about how to create a productive and positive culture in your small business. And I rant about TV advertising. Hey everyone, it's Manny Goswami, aka MG, CEO and co-founder of Rafiki Media, and welcome to the first live episode of the Ask Rafiki show. This is Jonathan. He's a great friend, great person, and he's also going to be helping me with this first live episode. We're currently in Toronto, the beautiful city of Toronto. We're actually in a U of T library, and we found a great space to record at. There are going to be people who are going to be coming up from behind, like that person right there. But don't worry, keep your focus on me, on my beautiful face. I told you, I promised everyone in episode 4 that they would get to witness my beautiful face. So here you guys go. A couple of things really quickly. The opener was really great. I'd like to thank Darsh Thanky. Darsh Thanky for that incredible opener, all the video. I want to thank Shay Video for the music. That was awesome. And a couple of other people just before we get into the first show. I definitely want to thank Cheyenne for the video equipment. And I want to thank Jonathan for coming out and helping with the first live episode. So, we've got your questions. We got your questions all via Twitter and Instagram with the hashtag AskRafiki. We got 46 questions, which is incredible, and it makes me feel very, very happy. We've only selected 5 of them though, so sorry to the other people who didn't get onto the show, but keep on sending your questions and we will select you. Before we get into the questions though, what's going on with Rafiki Media, what's going on with my life in general. Rafiki Media, we're really much trying to push out as much content as possible. So you've already probably seen some of the Medium articles that we're trying to post on our Facebook account. For these videos, we're trying to do basically a video every 5 episodes. So episode 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and onwards will all be a live video. Jonathan might make a recurring comeback. Maybe, so please comment if you liked having Jonathan so we don't have to fire him. Okay, I love you, man. And what else? Kobe came back 2 days ago. He was playing his first scrimmage game, and he also was in the preseason game yesterday. Lakers lost yesterday, but I actually do think that Roy Hibbert, Julius Randle, that combo, that's deadly. Very much excited for the Lakers. Are you a Lakers fan?
No, I'm not a big basketball watcher, not gonna lie.
That's fine. Jonathan will learn one day about the true spirit of living, which is watching basketball. I'm kidding. And then the final thing for Rafiki Media is Chase Haddon, our main client right now, who we're really trying to focus on. He's going to be releasing a video series right now on how to create a beat. Look forward to that. We're also trying to work with him to expand a lot of the micro content we built. So if you're a client of Rafiki Media, what we really like to do is we make micro content first, which are basically like smaller campaigns to test out which platforms will work well for what we're trying to get for you, right? Whether it be a bigger following or more people listening to your music. So for Chase, we're definitely trying to take that micro content now, take all of the analytics we've really got from it and expand it and make a bigger campaign on platforms that we think are going to be really successful for him. Right now we're focusing on Facebook, Vine, and YouTube, and we're very, very excited to release a lot of that stuff coming up. But now let's get right into the show.
Yeah, so we actually received quite a few great questions. So the first one is from Simone from Colorado. How do I foster a positive and productive culture in my small business? So
Simone, thank you again for submitting your question. This is a very simple question. I'll tell you why. The first thing you need to recognize, Simone, is that you have a small business, which means that it's going to be much easier for you to foster a positive and productive culture because you don't have to reach out to that many people. But what should you do? I have 4 pieces of advice for you. Firstly, I think you really need to try to organize regular team events. You need to try to get to know every single person in your business. Know them intimately, right? Know their ambitions, know what they want to do, know what they really are passionate about and what they like doing, what their strengths and weaknesses are. And if you really can interact with them, especially on an emotional level, you're going to have a better chance of actually being able to influence them to act a certain way, but moreover to be part of your company culture. Secondly though, I think you really need to trust your employees, right? A good example of this would be VaynerMedia, for example. It's a social media agency in New York. And what VaynerMedia does is that they have unrestricted vacations that they give to their employees. And their boss literally said that I do that because I know that my employees are so passionate about working that they're probably not even going to want to take a vacation in the first place. So of course that's the extreme side of giving freedom, but I really think you need to trust your employees to get the job done. Thirdly, I would say you need to walk your talk. Right? If you're trying to preach, like if I'm telling Jonathan to do all of this stuff, I better be doing it first. I better be trying to set a model for what a good employee is, or what a responsible person who's trying to represent that particular small business looks like. So definitely try to walk your talk. Final thing though, I think you need to try to set goals for people. Too many times I think people work in a job and feel confused because they don't know what's expected of them. So if Jonathan, for example, was working for me, I would say, hey Jonathan, I want this project due by Friday, but this is exactly what I'm expecting from it. And Jonathan, do you feel more comfortable then?
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan feels more comfortable.
Why not, right?
But what I'm trying to say here is that people like it when they know what is expected of them. So what I would say is if you're a person who really wants to try to motivate people, first tell them what's expected of them and then motivate them to go after that and try to reach the standard that you want them to be able to produce content or produce at. So that's really my answer for that. Question number 2.
All right. This is from DJ Fly07, which is, by the way, an awesome name.
Yes.
From Epic Takes on YouTube. He says, how do you maintain a positive attitude?
So DJ Flya, I know why I like Flya. DJ Flya, I have a couple of little answers here. Firstly, I think that there are positive energies all around you right now. You need to understand that. They are literally positive energies floating around right now, right? And yes, there are also negative energies in the forms of people like douchebags who you should not try to take a look at. In my opinion, I think you should try to put yourself into an environment where these positive energies are going to come to you, where you can be around awesome people like Jonathan, or be around awesome people like your friends and your family. But moreover, I think you really need to try to put yourself in an environment where you also feel like you're getting some sort of self-fulfillment, right? Where you are excited to wake up every morning and go do whatever work you're doing, or that you also feel very passionate about the things that you're doing. So definitely I would say if you want to have a positive attitude, you need to be around positive people, but put yourself into a positive environment where you can actually thrive. The second thing I would say is you need to set long-term goals for yourself. I'll give you an example. For me, a big long-term goal has been setting up Rafiki Media, but moreover, actually just doing this show, right? This show was a dream of mine for about 5 months now. And we finally got to do it, but I feel like the process of being able to move every step closer, getting the camera, getting the questions, trying to get all the people on board for this to really happen, really allowed me to get some sort of self-fulfillment, just knowing that I'm a step closer to my long-term goal. So set long-term goals and you're really going to be able to have a positive attitude to get there. Question 3.
All right. Question 3 is Courtney from Vancouver, and she says, what is your advice for a 15-year-old student who wants to be an entrepreneur?
By the way, Courtney, we have to shorten your question now. I really loved the intro. She was like, I love the show, so thank you so much. We love you too. And so my advice for you, Courtney, is very simple here. If you want to be a 15-year-old entrepreneur, you got to be a 15-year-old entrepreneur, right? So your question here is how to be an entrepreneur from a 15-year-old student standpoint. I really think you can start now. I think you can be a 15-year-old entrepreneur, right? You don't have to try to look forward and say that by 18 years old, by 20, that's where it's fine for me to be an entrepreneur. So I personally think if you want to be a 15-year-old entrepreneur, you got to be acting like it right now. And that means starting now. But what I want to say here is very crucial. Because everyone has great ideas, right? Like, people all across the world have great ideas. Even Billy down the corner right over there probably has good ideas. There isn't a Billy, by the way. But the the thing that differentiates people who succeed and the people who don't is execution. Execution is the name of the game. What you do with your idea when you get it and how you actually implement it. So definitely, I think, you could easily think that, oh, I'm so young, I'm disadvantaged, I don't have a lot of finances to back up on, I don't have a lot of experience, I haven't worked 20 years of my life. It doesn't matter, because the biggest advantage, especially someone like you has, being so young, is that normally, young people tend to be good with things like social media, and social media has become a big tool for success right now. So you can keep on reading books from Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, but to be honest, I really think that you should be trying to take lessons like the motivation and the fire that they had, but recognize that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates became successful through using the tools of success during their time. Those tools were different than tools that are really available to you right now. I think you really need to try to look at those tools right now, use that motivation from before, and mix them together to actually become successful. Moreover, I think you also really need to try to be self-aware. It's actually the biggest thing I wish people were, is that every person in the world was actually self-aware. And this means really knowing more about yourself and being honest with yourself every day. Like, am I actually doing something that is meaningful? Am I actually trying to meet my long-term goal? Am I actually trying to work and go all into my strengths? So really what I would say is that so many people try to concentrate on their weaknesses too much, being like, by 80 years old, I'll check off half the list of my weaknesses. I would say, screw that. Go all into your strengths. And this is advice that only probably will come maybe from a few people, but I'm telling you right now, if you try to focus so much on your weaknesses and don't go all into your strengths, you're not going to be able to be successful early on. So I definitely think that by going all into your strengths, you're really going to be able to set yourself up for a lot of success. Thirdly, I would say you should really try to learn from as many people as possible, right? And the fact, Courtney, that you sent this question really speaks volumes about your character, because you sent a question to the first live episode of this show. And I can clearly see that you have the motivation and the drive to learn from people. So really expand that, right? Go to coffee shops, talk to people. Go to libraries and talk to people if they want to talk to you. And really just try to engage with people. Go to talks, go onto YouTube, search up videos, and keep on engaging with other people and learning from them. But also producing content to help other people who are in your situation right now. It's all about hustle. The final thing I would tell you, wow, this is a very long answer.
Yeah.
The final thing I promise I would tell you, and this is just an advice really for any entrepreneur who's a youth entrepreneur, is definitely try to leverage the position that you're in right now. You are a person who is representing the next generation, right? Like, you're a youth, you're part of our generation too. And the best models for success right now tend to be youth who focus on youth issues and build a business around it. For example, 10,000 Coffees here in Toronto, it's a great website, you should search it up. Basically built a business where they connect young people to adults who are in various industries or celebrities, right? So they really tried to focus on youth issues because they were young and could understand those issues better because they felt it every day, and they built a business around that. So that's something I would really want to give you as some sort of business advice, if you will. Question 4.
Sure, do you have to add
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
I think it's something that you brought up that I think is really interesting is the idea of that being a youth is an opportunity in itself.
Yeah.
Because you are young, you understand the problems of this generation better than anybody else. And as a 15-year-old, that has to be evident within your life. There are things that you find troubling within your life that probably your parents or grandparents are going to go, that doesn't sound like a big problem, or, I don't know what's going on here. But you have distinctive potential in your life and in this generation, and you really have to captivate upon that. I think that's a very great thing that you brought up there. So, question number 4 is Sarah from Toronto, actually. So,
Toronto.
Yeah, we the 6. And she asks, what platform are you the most hyped about?
Okay, so I know we'll go both ways for this one because both of us probably have different answers, but I was initially very hyped about Path. Path is a thing that was supposed to become bigger than Instagram, then it failed me and actually lost me a lot of money when I tried to bet on it. So Path was definitely a thing I was really passionate about before. Really right now though, the platform I'm the most hyped about, Medium. Medium is such a cool app when you can get it on your iPhone. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Android now too. You can search it up on the internet too on your PC. Basically, it's an basically it's a platform where people can write stories, they can engage with other people, and they can put it in a very stylish way. It's a very sleek website, very sexy, has awesome font styles, has awesome abilities to be able to know how long that article is. You can search up like 5-minute read articles, or an article that will take me 2 minutes to read, and you can really just go through that entire filter and read articles that are short but also meaningful. Rafiki Media, by the way, does have a Medium account. We've posted about 10 articles now. So search us up on Medium, Rafiki Media. And a lot of the content we're trying to post right now is really for you. So definitely Courtney, all of the other people who asked questions, do take a look at some of those questions and some of our articles, because some of your answers might actually be within them. But yeah, on a side note, an app that I'm also very interested in right now, before we hear from Jonathan, is an app called Uncrate. Quinn isn't here. Quinn is a great friend. Follow him on Instagram, Quinn E. Underwood. He's an awesome person. But he actually showed me this app, and basically the app Uncrate is an app basically designed specifically for men, I'll be honest, but it's an app where it has the coolest gadgets, the coolest cars, the coolest, newest pieces of technology, really trying to focus on what men traditionally like. That was what the founder said. So whatever, I mean, I'm pretty sure girls can also really like it. But if you go onto it, you can actually like see these really cool stuff, and there's already a link where you can buy it if you like it. So it's a really cool and interactive app, which is what I like. So check out Uncrate. Jonathan, what are you hyped about?
That's actually a really difficult question for me to answer, fully honestly. I don't really think I'm that hyped about most of, like, any real platforms. But app-wise, there is one app that I really like. It's called Vent. You ever hear about it before?
No.
So it's just an app where you can go on and people just vent about their daily issue. They just talk, I'm unhappy. I got a B in school or something like that. Hashtag Asian problems. But it is. No, but what they actually do is, what's surprising is that people on Vent will talk about problems they see in life, and what that really means to me actually is opportunities. When somebody says there's a problem that they face, to me that means there's an opportunity for me to provide a solution. And in Vent, I think it's a different way of looking at the app itself, because really the app was meant for people to just go on and just talk about what they're unhappy about, so for them to vent. But for me, I've actually seen it as a tool specifically for me to find out what people are worried about, what they dislike in life, and then see if there's a solution we can actually bring to that. Definitely it's not the most normal answer, I suppose. It's a very strange answer I gave, but I'm very hyped about this
Vent
app. It's actually called Vent, just called
Vent. V-E-N-T.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, V-E-N-T, Rafiki Nation, check it out. That actually sounds very appealing. But final question.
Yep.
Question number 5.
Question number 5 from Karate55. Awesome name again. You guys have way better names than Jonathan, honestly.
Yeah.
So the question is, what are your genuine thoughts on television advertising?
Excellent. So this is going to be rant number 1. I'll be honest. I looked at this question 2 days ago when you posted it, and I've been back and forth. I really don't think there is an absolute answer I can give to this question. I think that TV advertising can actually be good in some aspects. I think that, for example, if you were advertising on a channel that was playing the Super Bowl or had another major event, it's actually a very strategic decision, especially if you can get a very good deal from that network if you put out an ad. But here's my problem, Jonathan, is when people are watching normal and like on a normal like February, they're watching Grey's Anatomy. And when Grey's Anatomy ends, the average person, to be honest, I don't think gives a damn about a Jeep going up a mountain.
No.
Okay? Like, they don't care. And what are they actually doing though? They're probably, after Grey's Anatomy and the commercial comes on, going right to their phones or checking their laptop out and being like, wow, oh my god, that character died. No, I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy, it's not a spoiler, don't worry. But that's essentially where their attention is. So I would personally say that, especially in those instances, marketeers and people and businesses really need to try to look at what the attention graph of your target market is and try to take advantage of that and recognize that it might not actually be TV, it might not actually even be billboards because half the time people aren't even looking at the road anymore, but really it's on social media and it's on the online and virtual space that we really need to try to get people. So that's really what I think about television advertising. I'm kind of like both ways on it, but if I didn't get a good deal ever on a channel or a network, I would never do it. If I did get a good deal, I would still try to consider what time, what channel, and what types of events are going on at the time to really try to get people to watch my ad in the first place. Jonathan, you have anything?
Yeah, I think it's when it comes to television advertising, it's varied. There's varied success. Obviously, if you have something that's incredible, like just a commercial that sticks with people, I guess suppose you can definitely, it could be effective. But I think one factor about television advertising that really just is unfulfilled is the humanizing factor. When I see a television ad, I know it's an ad, right? I know.
Okay, so apparently the camera does not like what Jonathan had to talk about humanizing television advertising and the perks of social media. But Jonathan, do you want to finish up what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Then we'll do a little.
So I think one thing that we were just talking about before. So basically, social media allows you more than anything else to humanize, to talk with your consumer, right? And what better way to find out about who your consumers are than talking to them, right? And it's a new outlet for you really to talk to your consumers. And more importantly, it's a new outlet for you to sort of respond to your consumers' inquiries. So I run a blog with my friend called Animal Factbook. It's on Tumblr. We have 170,000 followers roughly.
Rafiki Nation, check it out.
Yeah, it's fairly like good. And we're really happy to run. And what I did was I actually ran a specific section of it, which was the Ask a Question section. So people would come in with inquiry. We would get like 20, 30, 40 questions a day, and I would try to my best to sort of answer 3 of the best ones I could find. Obviously, I wasn't answering them very seriously. It's a humor blog after all. But what I think was unique about that was that we contacted with our consumers, right, with our fan base more, and because of that, we saw more fan loyalty towards our specific blog.
Definitely. So that's amazing. By the way, Jonathan's self-esteem did kind of go down when that camera rejected him. But no, that was a great answer. Thank you so much. So a couple of things really quickly to close off. That is the show. Please follow us on SoundCloud. If you haven't seen the first 4 episodes, because this is episode 5, go and check those out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and look at our website, rafikimedia.net. But really, thank you to Jonathan for coming out. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Alright, if you enjoyed that episode, please remember to follow us as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please tweet a question out with the hashtag AskRafiki on Twitter and Instagram. Until next time.